this is unusual because I'm actually going to show you guys from start to finish how you guys can do this like I've done in the past for other marks. However, we're actually doing the entire process here, and I'm going to show you guys live how to do it. So you guys are even going to get to see the end, the filing receipt stage. I just want to show you guys exactly how we're going to go about doing this. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you guys can see. One thing to remember, so this is our main site. This is one of the specimens that we're going to submit. We're going to submit a screenshot. Let me show you another. I'll just show you right now. I prepped the other screenshots just to save us time. I prepared the other specimens. You'll get to see the specimens, but I basically have screenshots of the website, screenshots of our Instagram, and then our business cards. But before we do that, let's go to the trademark ID manual and let's figure out exactly how you guys would go about doing this for your own law firm. So this is going to be super valuable content because a lot of you guys might have law firms out there, maybe small, medium-sized firms, larger firms. This is how you guys can actually go about registering your trademark for your firm. Let's just search for legal services, and we're going to see that class 45 is going to pop right up. So bam, legal services under class 45. So that's the class that we are going to go under. All right, let's get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to tstr.uspto.gov. And then if you scroll to the left, you'll see file online. Now, here's one thing to remember. When I click on file online and then click on initial application forms, it's going to take me directly to the initial application form when I do. So I'm going to click start your application in TS. TS stands for the Trademark Electronic Application System. This screen right here, the only reason why it takes me directly here is because I'm already logged into my uspto.gov account. So if you guys are trying to follow along and doing this on your own, just note that after you click start your application, it's going to have you log in. Now, setting up a uspto.gov account, super simple. It doesn't take that long. I highly encourage you guys to go through the steps of having that set up. But again, if you don't have a uspto.gov account, it doesn't take long, pretty easy to set up. I'm already logged in. I logged in beforehand just to save you guys the time of having to see that. So once I'm logged in, I'm going to want to click on TS Standard, and then I'm going to click on, now this is an interesting question. So is an attorney filing this application? So I could file it on behalf of the company as an attorney, or I can do it as the owner. This could kind of go both ways. I'm going to go ahead and file it as if I'm doing it on my own on behalf of the company. But again, there's multiple ways to do this. So given the fact that other attorneys might be doing this for their own firms, I'm actually going to do something unusual in this episode. Normally, what I've been doing in past episodes is I've been filing on behalf of, as if it was the actual business owner. So interestingly, in this one, I'm going to go ahead and do it as not the attorney. I'm going to just do it as the business owner. Okay, so let's do it as the business owner so you guys can see what that process is like. I'm going to go ahead and click continue, and then owner of the mark. So now the owner of the mark is going to be the actual entity. In this case, it's going to be Adibi IP Group PC. So this is our professional corporation. It's a California corporation in this particular case. A lot of you might have LLPs, but in this case, we're a California corporation. Then we're going to put our mailing address. So in this case, our mailing address is 5 3rd Street, Suite 622. We're based in San Francisco. And our zip code is 94103, and our phone number, I'm going to go ahead and put our main line, 915-851-256. And I'm going to go ahead and add our fax number. Also makes sense to provide this information. Now, some of you may be inclined not to. It's really up to you if you want to provide this information. If you don't provide your phone number, you'll get a warning saying, hey, you didn't provide your phone number, but again, not required. I'm going to go ahead and provide both. Email. Now, email is required. So I'm going to go ahead and put our email address as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in our website address. Now I have it open over here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. And then I'm going to hit continue. Once we're here, we're going to go ahead and continue. Now we're going to enter the mark. Now for the mark in this application, we're going to just start off by just doing the actual word mark. So the Adibi IP Group. In future episodes, we can talk about how we might do other variations of this. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And then for the services, I'm going to click enter manually. So here we're going to actually enter in our services. I'm going to click add goods and services. As I said before, class 45, it's going to cover legal services. And then we're going to file under section 1A. That's because we're already providing legal services under this brand. For the specimen, I've already prepared them beforehand. I'm going to show you guys, you'll be able to see in this actual application what I'm doing. But effectively, what I did was I took screenshots. So I have various screenshots. One is of our business, another is of our website. This file right here, I'm going to go ahead and click attach. And then I'm also going to click attach for the business card as well. So if I click on open a new tab, okay, now you guys can see it, I believe. You should be able, once it loads. It's kind of a big file. In the meantime, while that's loading, I'm going to add the business card. Oh, it's more than 32 megs. Okay, that's kind of an issue. So two strategies. One thing I can do is I can try to reduce the file size. Another thing that I can possibly do is just make it smaller, maybe crop it out. I'm actually going to try the cropping method. I actually don't think that's issues come up in prior videos, so kind of interesting that it came up now. So I'm going to go ahead and attach another file. This is the smaller one. Okay. Oh, that's also 33.8 megs. Here's one strategy. We can just break up the business card into two different PDFs. Okay, now we got the right sizes. So let's try again. I'm going to go ahead and upload the front card. Yeah, it's just a really big file, guys. It's going to take a few seconds because it's a pretty big file. But while we're waiting, let me just say a couple of quick things. So one thing that we're going to do here that's kind of interesting is that we're not going to just do class 45. What I also want to do is I also want to protect a lot of the valuable educational content that Victoria puts out there for us with the team. Obviously, several of us are involved in that and just putting out valuable content. And so I want to make sure that we also capture that. Real quick, while we're waiting for this to upload, I'll show you guys how you can go about figuring out what class is appropriate. I'll just tell you now, what you're going to realize when you do the search is that educational content is going to be under class 41. But if you didn't know that, you could just do a quick search. Providing educational demonstration. So this is going to be under class 41. We're going to go ahead and use that. We'll do class 41. And let's see if it finished uploading. Okay, so it finally uploaded. Okay, cool. Just to show you guys. Okay, so this is the screenshot that we're submitting. So you can see there's a way to access the services. There's buttons to book an appointment or get in contact with us. Okay, and then if we click the front, this is going to pull up the actual front of the card, and then back, it's going to pull up the actual back of the business card. Now, again, it's loading. These are big files. That's how you guys would go about doing it for your own law firms. They're basically loading. What they're going to see is they're really, really high-res images of our business card. Okay, so this is our business card right here. So I took pictures of both sides, and now I've uploaded them to the TIA system. So this is the front of the card, and then this is the back of the card. So here it shows Adibi IP Group, and it's in connection with, obviously, our services, in this case, patent attorney services. Then if I go back, I can return to form, and then I'm gonna have to include a description of what the specimen is. So I'm just gonna describe it. So specimen is, now, really, really important. So basically for specimen, you need to have the URL and the date that you accessed it. So those are the two really, really important items. So I'm going to go ahead and describe it. So what we want to put in here is a description. So you can say a screenshot of a web page, and then for the web page, we'll just put, let me make sure I have our right web page. Should be precise and correct. Accessed on, and today's date, December 14, 2020, showing use of the mark in connection with legal services. And photographs showing the front and back sides of a business card bearing the mark in connection with legal services. Now, data first use anywhere. So this is going to be the first date that you started using, in this case, the Adibi IP Group. I'm going to go ahead and put the date that we officially incorporated. For the data first use in commerce, this is going to be the date that you actual use in commerce. So you had an out-of-state customer. In this case, for us, that date turned out to be 01/12/2020. Now, fortunately for us, because we also do patent services, we can actually provide our services to out-of-state, non-California clients. So that's actually really, really valuable, because then it permits us, even though we can't necessarily provide legal services to out-of-state residents in other practice areas, in patents we can. And so it's a really, really nice benefit of being a patent practitioner. January 12, 2020, I'm going to go ahead and include that date for the data first use in commerce. And this looks good to go. So then I'm going to click assigned filing basis. And once I've done that, I can actually move forward. So one thing I also want to do is I want to add service educational content around intellectual property. So for example, a lot of these useful videos that we provide here, I want to make sure that we also include those. Now, remember, each class is $275, so this is actually going to up the filing fee. So just keep that in mind, that is going to affect your filing fees. So class 41, and we're going to go ahead and say providing educational content around intellectual property. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same. I will do section 1A because we're actually providing the content already. And again, I'm going to go ahead and attach specimens. I'm going to start by showing the specimen of our actual website, because our website has educational content related to intellectual property. And then I'm also going to include a screenshot, of our Instagram page. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that as well as part of our specimen. So let me attach that. This should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and click attach. Their interface for uploading PDFs is really simple. Remember, it's got to be a PDF or a JPEG. And we learned recently that it has to be less than 30 megs. So be cautious of that. So I'm going to go ahead and open link a new tab just so you guys can see what it is that I'm submitting. So this is the Adibi IP Group Instagram page. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Let's get back to the application. I'm going to go ahead and click return to form, and then I'm going to go ahead and continue filling this out. So again, remember, as I said before, whenever you submit screenshots of web pages for specimens, you're going to need to include the URL as well as the date that you accessed it. If you don't do that, you're going to get a refusal. The examiner is going to actually require you to include submit a new specimen that has that information. I'm going to say a screenshot of a web page accessed on, and then today's date that includes educational content related to intellectual property. Access on 10/14/2020 that includes a mark in connection with educational content related to intellectual property. And then we're going to copy the same format and a screenshot of a web page. And then here we're going to put our Instagram page. And then when I put that in, this is also access on December 14, 2020. That includes the mark in connection with educational content related to intellectual property. I just realized, let's just consolidate this. Let's just keep it tight. Accessed on December 14, 2020, that includes a mark in connection with educational content related to intellectual property. Okay, there we go. And then again, this date's going to be the same for us. We started putting content out right away, and assigned filing basis. So now we have class 41, educational content, and then also legal services under class 45. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. I'm going to go ahead and put in our firm initials, T01, include a bunch of secondary email addresses just for courtesy copies. Going to include some of our incredible team members. Okay, so we can put up to 4 email addresses. So I'm going to put team members on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Once we get here, we see the 550. So this is where we're actually going to be paying. Now I'm going to go ahead and click sign directly because I'm going to go ahead and sign it on behalf of the company. So I'm going to go ahead and click. Now, one thing you have to do is you should read this carefully. You should understand what it is you're actually attesting to. One is that you believe that you've actually been using it in commerce. You believe that you're the owner. You have a right to the mark. This checkbox is saying that, as far as you're aware, you have a right to use it, so there's no other confusingly similar marks. The third checkbox is saying that there's factual support. So, for example, all the specimens that I submitted, they're actually true and correct. And then this final one is saying that I'm signing under penalty of perjury. Once I do that, I can go ahead and sign. They make signing super simple. All you do is you put your name within slashes. Because I'm doing this on behalf of the company, not as the attorney, I'm going to go ahead and put my title with the Adibi IP Group. So president, and then all I need to do now is just, if you push the date box, it automatically fills today's date for you. They make it really, really convenient. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my phone number. I'm going to go ahead and click validate. So now I've signed it. Application has been validated. So we're almost at the end. We'll be able to file here shortly. Before we do that, one thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do some things like I want to save the form. So I'm going to go to the very bottom and I'm going to click save form. This is going to be useful because I think in future episodes, we're talking about possibly doing a few follow-up episodes where we actually file on our actual logo. So I'm going to go ahead and save the form. That way I can show you guys how you guys can go about using this as a tool for the marks that you guys do. If you guys plan to do multiple marks, it's a lot easier if you have a form that you can just upload because it has all your information already stored. So it's going to download what's called a .obj file. You can save it. You can use it to refile tomorrow if you want, like if you're not entirely sure about submitting today. But again, this is the 100th episode. We're going to go big. We're going to do a full filing. You'll see it, filing receipt at the end of this episode. So it's pretty cool. Before we do that, let's just review everything and make sure that everything is actually correct in the application. So I'm going to click on input, and then I'm going to click on the mark. I'm going to take a look at it to make sure the mark looks good to me. Again, it's just Adibi IP Group. So there's our PC. For those of you who don't know, PC stands for Professional Corporation. 5 3rd Street. This is our address, 622 California, 94103. That's our zip. This is our phone number, 415-851-2566. This is our fax, 415-873-2284. Here's our email. Here's the website address. And then corporation, California, 45. So this is okay. So this is the legal services under class 45. And this is the specimens, business cards, the website, dates of first use. And here's a screenshot of a web page. So this is the specimen description. Yeah. So this is describing that this is our screenshot. Remember, URL and date of access. These are really important. Otherwise, your specimens will be rejected. And then the photographs showing the front and back sides of the business card. And then again, 41 is educational content. Again, we started putting content right away. Then we put a link to our Instagram and also our actual business site, which has a lot of educational content on there. This all looks good. This is the secondary email addresses for secondary reference. So they're also going to receive courtesy copies of what we filed today. And again, we're doing the TS standard. And again, I'm signing as the president, and this looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and click back and then click on mark, and you guys can see another nice big image of our actual mark. So it should obviously match what you're seeing on my business card. Again, very important, you guys, make sure that the mark you submit is actually your mark. If there's a typo in it, that's a problem. You'll have to submit a whole new mark. It's a costly mistake. Don't make it. Read everything carefully and make sure that it's correct. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click back. The mark looks good to me. Specimens look good. You can double check them if you want. I already have them open. All the specimens look good. Overall, everything looks good to go. So that said, let's get this application in. The only other thing that I want to explain to you guys, I already explained to you guys how you guys can save the form. If you're not sure, if you want to maybe use the application to do another filing the next day, save the form. The very last thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to check this box here. This box indicates 3 important things. One is that, like I said before, no refunds. So if you misspell your mark, you have to submit a whole new application, pay a whole new set of filing fees. The second is that you have no right to confidentiality. In other words, everything that we submit in this application today is gonna become public record, okay? So keep that in mind. The last and third thing is that you might receive solicitation from these third-party services that basically solicit you for fees that you aren't actually owed. It's a whole scam. You can read all about it here. If you get a letter, which you probably will, we can see that the trademark office actually keeps really, really good records. So you can actually see what these look like. If you click on some, you'll see all fees that you pay for the trademark are going to be paid through the trademark office site. So that's a huge red flag. Another big red flag is the trademark office is in Alexandria, Virginia. Okay, so if you get something from New York, from Texas, from Utah, another big red flag that it's a scam. So, but if you're unsure, just go to this link. We also have videos on misleading notices. So just Google misleading notices, Adibi IP, and you'll see. You can learn more about it. Okay, so this looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and click pay submit, and then we're gonna be in business. This screen here is gonna allow me to input our credit card information. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go offline, but we're gonna do it. So you're actually gonna get to see the filing receipt, what it actually looks like when you go through the entire process. So let's take a quick look. So it's just pulling it up. All you have to do is click submit your payment method, and then we're gonna input it in here, and our address is already filled out. So this is what the actual page looks like. Please zoom in so you guys can see. This is what you will see if you guys are doing this on your own. You're gonna see a submission successful. You'll see the actual trademark serial number right here. So this is it. So you're gonna wanna save that serial number, okay? This is the serial number that's gonna be connected with your application throughout the entire process and even after it issues. So keep that in a safe spot. You'll be able to always see the status of your trademark. All you have to do is copy it and then go to tsdr.uspto.gov, and then you can input it in here. Now, will it show up now? Probably not, because it takes some time for the records to be updated, but it should definitely be up by tomorrow. One thing I want to show you guys also is we can actually save the filing receipt. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, and then let me see if I can open it in the browser so you guys can actually see. Okay, so this is the actual filing receipt that the trademark office spits out. So you can actually see, here's our serial number right here, Adibi IP Group, that's the mark that we just filed on. And then all the application information is down here. Now remember, guys, this is all public now. So yeah, I have the PDF, but if I lose it, if I didn't save it for some reason, it doesn't matter. I can still go onto the trademark site and actually pull all this information. Anybody can. So again, there's the owner information and everything that we submitted, it's gonna be here and part of the public record. So again, this is how you go about filing a trademark application for your law firm, or if you're creating intellectual property around law. I mean, this is one hopefully useful video that you guys can use for protecting your own marks that you guys use for providing legal services. So definitely highly recommend you guys use this, and hopefully you guys find this content very useful for you guys' own businesses. So again, this is the filing receipt. Here's our filing date, 12/14. This is a serial number. You're going to want to save that, and you'll be able to always access the state of your trademark. So thank you so much for watching this very special 100th episode.